In Gen V, there's a character that grows and shrinks by eating too much food or not eating enough food. And I wanted to talk about how we ourselves have that same characteristic, because whenever the little cricket Emma within Gen V would get small, her ego, her self-esteem, her self-confidence would be very little. Like, she didn't have any sort of self-regard for herself. She felt as if she was inferior. Her parents and her friends even took her very unserious. And I kind of thought about that. It's just like, when other people make us feel small, we become small within ourselves. And it's just like, well, now why should we stand up for ourselves? Because we're small. And then the opposite happens when Emma would become big. She would stand up for herself. She'd become more empowering. She'd be the life of the party because she was big. She allowed herself to be confident. She allowed herself to have high self-esteem. She gave herself the permission to be big. And this is a way of looking at the world that where it's like, other people will make us feel small because they themselves want to remain large. Her mom was the one that taught her how to shrink in the first place and told her not to become big because her mom was worried what would happen to her, not the daughter, but herself. The mom was worried about herself. What would happen to her, that her daughter would leave her behind because she was big and she was showing the world her true powers. So she's like, you know what, I want to keep you in control. I want to keep you in check. So I'm going to make sure that you only ever get small and you never get big, even though being big is a lot better superpower than being small, at least in my opinion. Sometimes you do have to be small to be able to get into like the crooks and crannies into certain areas, but it's also better to like be big. So that's why I think it's a good thing. No, it's a good thing where sometimes you want to be strong, other times you want to be little or weak in a sense, but it's not really weakness. It's just you showing like compassion and a willingness to understand other people. So it's just like, it's funny how if somebody else is, say, belittling us or making us feel small, we'll feel inferior and have low self-confidence. Whereas if we change our view and it's just like, you know what, I'm going to be big, I'm going to be strong, I'm going to be powerful, then all of a sudden everything else around us will start to do the exact same thing.